Welcome everybody to the Magic Beans podcast. We are back again for episode number 86. I am your host tonight, and my name is Shorty, and I have just one bean and a few, what have we decided to call them, bean sprouts on the line with me tonight. So this is something new and interesting, but tonight we have Chewy. How's it going, Chew?
I'm well, mate. How are you?
Pretty good. And we're joined by a couple of guests in the form of Reese, all the way from Perth. How's it going, Reese?
Not too bad at all. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you. And we also have Dark Flame Ash from our Discord coming from Brisbane or Sunshine Coast, I think we worked out. How are you going?
Yeah, Sunshine Coast. Yes, good. Very nervous to be here.
Well, we are called the Magic Beans, and that is an insult. So, don't feel too starstruck or nervous tonight. Cause
we're a very professional outfit here, Shorty. What are you talking about? So, for those who watched the one-day historic event, Ash joined us for commentary on that. So, maybe a familiar voice to those that follow us on Twitch. So, welcome back, Ash. And Reese, one of my oldest Magic friends. Well over 15 years, I'd say we've known each other through this game. So,
which means you've got nothing nice to say about him?
No.
I did call a judge on him once for what was absolutely no reason. So,
yeah, I mean,
there's probably a legitimate reason.
Yeah, there's some sort of reason in there.
Running late.
Yeah.
Running late.
Judge,
yeah. Behind the time.
My opponent keeps making terrible jokes.
You would be DQ'd from every event if that was something
Life
you could call judges for.
Exactly.
I'd like to sign up, but no. Just no.
Yeah.
There's a picture of me at every sign up. Do not let this man in. Yeah.
All right. So, we a couple of the beans tonight were unavailable for various reasons, and I didn't know if I was going to make it tonight. So, Chewy reached out, and we're just really lucky to have some awesome people in our community that wanted to jump on and get their voice out there to you awesome people that listen to our podcast each and every week for some strange reason, unknown reason that you actually listen to us. But these are a couple of people who've been involved in our community for a little while, and giving the commentating a bit of a crack. And now jumping on the podcast. So really glad to have you guys. Thank you for joining us, and I'm sure you'll have plenty to contribute to the cast tonight. But before we get into that, Chewy, do you want to tell everyone about our awesome sponsors?
Speaking of contribution to the cast, massive shout out to Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar. They are our sponsors of the cast as well as our tournament series, and we'll talk a little bit about our upcoming league in this episode. But Josh and Pat's are a Facebook auction group where you can jump on and bid on physical Magic cards. They have auctions every single night, premium auctions on the weekend. And when you do win an auction, pick up a bargain, please tell them that the Beans sent you, and Shorty will put the link to their website, which will direct straight to their Facebook page in the show notes. So go and check that out, and you won't be disappointed. They are a great service. Full-time auctioneer, super fast postage, excellent communication, second to none. Best place to buy cards on the internet.
Ash, I believe you get regular, I don't know if you get them from Pat, but I believe you get regular deliveries of Magic cards.
Yeah, that time Spiral Box was from Pat, and
nice.
I do have singles just that came with that as well.
Very
nice.
good. Yeah, good.
I just got a letter from Pat just yesterday.
Nice.
Somehow managed to arrive dry despite all the wet rain we've been having. So great job on the shipping. Do recommend Josh and Pat.
Very good. Yep.
Perfect.
Certainly do. They do a very good job, and the support that they show us is awesome. Allows us to do all the different things we do and all the events that we run. So can't shout them out enough. All right, so a few things to get into tonight, and the first one we're going to look at, we've actually had some more bans, which is a little bit surprising. I mean, we've been through a period, we've talked about it plenty of times on the podcast, been through a period of heaps and heaps of bans, and we thought maybe we were past that now. Eldraine's going to be rotating out soon, and Modern Horizons seem to be fine, like lots of powerful cards, nothing too crazy. And then out of nowhere, in the space of a week, we've had 2 bans. So, Ash, do you want to give us a run through on the 2 bans that we've had this week?
Well, first one is for the standard 2022 event that's currently running on Arena. It's only for that, so you can regularly play it in standard and all that until it becomes banned in real life, which it probably will be.
Possibly, yes.
The Book of Exile Deeds.
Exalted Deeds, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It is in the new Dungeons and Dragons set. It's basically it's like game 3 at the end of the turn. If you have game 3, end of turn, 3/3 angel, but if you pay the 3 to sacrifice it, you get a little counter, which means you can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game.
So that works really well with a land that's in standard that just happens to have the changeling ability, right? So you turn your creature land, whose name is completely escaping me. Shorty,
Faceless Haven.
Faceless Haven, yep.
Faceless Haven.
Into what is effectively a platinum angel, and you can't lose the game. So just for that event, they have banned that just because that seems really unfun, particularly if 2 players both have that combo going, which is
I have heard of a third card that potentially just makes it, gives indestructible. Is the Tyrai it Sanctum?
Sanctum, yeah, turns a god legend indestructible if memory serves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because Faceless Haven's changeling, it's got that creature type too. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay. So you can make your land indestructible so they can't blow it up. That's basically the only way to interact with it, because once your Faceless Haven is no longer a creature past the end of the turn, it's the only way to deal with that ability that's on it is by blowing up the land. So, yeah, that'd be fun. Like, make it so your opponents can't win and you can't lose, and then make it so they can't destroy your land and just sit there. I did actually hear, I was listening to the Arena Craft podcast, which is Covert Go Blue and Arjuna. Good podcast if you're into playing on Arena a lot. And the CGB was talking about it, that he played against, I can't remember who he played, a well-known person sort of up in Mythic, and he got the combo locked out, and they both basically just sat there doing nothing for like an hour or so, sort of thing. It's like, you can't win, I can't lose. It literally comes down to who's going to concede, who wants to get on with their day, and who's stubborn enough to stay in this match.
So, Reese, as a someone who gravitates towards the more controlling strategies, that's like your dream scenario, right?
Well, it's funny because I've been playing Mono White Control in Standard before the Book of Exalted Deeds was printed, and I hadn't heard of the combo until just yesterday. And so I wasn't at home. So as soon as I got back to my PC, I converted the Mono White Control to a snow build, but I thought that because I was so far behind the clock, I'm bringing it out of the sideboard. So I'm now all excited about this shiny new toy, and I'm hoping it doesn't get banned. And just while I'm on this, if I may, I think apropos of nothing, the best way to deal with this card is now a card called Waking the Trolls. So make of that what you will.
Yeah, aptly named, right? Yeah.
So Ash, you said this is just for the standard 2022. There's too many twos. Standard 2022 event that's currently on Arena. Is that correct?
Yes, but
you're expecting that to happen maybe when we actually get to rotation, or you think we'll actually get a legit ban in Standard?
I think rotation, I've seen people think about hints of Innistrad might balance it, especially with rotation with that set. At the moment, as far as I found out, there's about 3 cards currently in Standard that can destroy a land. So,
okay,
yeah,
so
the
there's
Waking
ways
the
to
Trolls
deal with it.
that Reese said. Now, Reese, as a mono white player, I know that you'd probably want to convert it to the cream, the off white, and the beige, and there's no such thing as too many twos with that.
No.
So, very, very niche cricket reference there that only about 1% of
my sideboard.
Yeah. So any Richie Benno fans out there will be laughing. Everyone else will be going, "What on earth is he talking about?" Yeah.
The one thing. Oh, sorry, if I just jump in real quick. On Innistrad, so I think if they didn't specifically have any cards that might be able to deal with this combo, already, they might be in a bit of a break glass in case of an emergency situation. So I would expect that, given that they probably don't want to ban a card from their new set, when they can still bring in answers to it, like they've got answers now, they can just prepare answers for Innistrad. I would expect to see something that can deal with it. I can't see them. So something like
a Ghost Quarter, or what was the one from the Ixalan set that you've got a basic? What was that land?
That's Field of Ruin.
Field of Ruin, yeah. Oh, yeah, so Ghost Quarter.
So Field of Ruin's currently in Standard. It's in Theros. Does Theros rotate? I can't remember.
Yes, Theros.
It does. Okay, so yeah, I would expect. I mean, you never know with Wizards. I would expect that we're probably going to see Field of Ruin in one of the Innistrad sets.
Bring back Molten Rain.
I was about to suggest that, and I was going to ask Shorty as our resident mono red aficionado.
Let's just go Stone Rains. Just give me some Birds of Paradise and Stone Rains, and we're all good.
That sounds like a healthy standard format, right?
Yeah, love it. So yeah, I mean, like this standard 2022 event that's running will run up until Innistrad releases and rotation happens, and it's only best of one. And I think that's why they're banning it now, because it's a special event, so they can get away with banning it, and it doesn't affect anybody. No one's getting losing their wild cards and things like that because of it, and because it's only best of one, they don't want to ruin people's experience of playing the new fancy format sort of thing by having this 2-card combo that's extremely hard to interact with. So I don't blame them for that. I think it's a good idea, and yeah, it'll just be interesting to see if there is some sort of answer for it when rotation happens, and if it shows up in best of 3 Magic at the moment.
Is the last time they preemptively banned a card? So they errated the pirate guy that stole the thing.
Hostage taker.
But I think the last time they preemptively banned was all the way back, going back a long way into like Memory Jar, right? So this isn't a preemptive ban. This is different, but yeah, I hope they have a way to deal with it.
I guess it just depends how much it becomes part of the format. Like in reality, it's 3 mana to cast the Book of Exalted Deeds, and then on the following turn you need 6 mana to get it going, because you need 3 to activate your Faceless Haven, and then you can use the Faceless Haven to activate itself, and then you need another 3 mana for the book. So if Standard at the moment, if you're not winning the game by then, you're probably doing things wrong. There's enough powerful things going on. So yeah, it'll just be whether or not once we have rotation and Eldraine goes and that power level drops right down, if that becomes a problem. So we will keep an eye on that and see what happens. Have either of you guys played, or any of you guys, I'm pretty sure Chewy hasn't, but Ash or Reese, have you played in the 2022 Standard thing?
No, I actually wasn't aware of the queue until I heard the announcement.
Yep. What about you, Ash?
I have tested it more so about 2 games. I was trying the ones where they have the pre-cons. The pre-cons.
Now, Ash, I have to stop you there. So you've played 2 games. That is more research than the Magic Beans are used to. Okay, so if you could just stop showing us up a little, that would be good.
Yeah, we don't actually play Magic.
No, that's how much time I spent. I just go into things that are new.
Yeah, from what I've been hearing on podcasts, for most content creators, that they have stopped playing normal Standard and are playing Standard 2022 because they're just over Standard, and they will only play it if they really have to. So yeah, interesting. I might have to delve into that format, and we can report back on that in the next couple episodes. Let's move on to the next banning. What do you got there, Ash?
Hull Breacher. So it's a commander banning. If an opponent would draw a card, except for the first one, they draw in each of their draw steps. Instead, you create a token. It is a 2 and a blue, and it is a Merfolk pirate with flash.
So you create a treasure token, is that correct?
Yep.
Yes, you created a treasure token.
Yeah. So this card seems pretty obnoxious. Right?
So one a member of the podcast who's not on tonight would like to use this in one of their commander decks, I believe, in Cracker with his wheel deck. So I think the combo, or the way this card gets abused, and probably why it's been banned in Commander, is you play this dude and then you play a Wheel of Fortune.
Draw 7, yeah.
You draw 7 and you make a whole bunch of treasures, because all of your opponents are meant to be drawing 7 cards, and
you make X times 7 treasures.
Yes.
Correct.
And then if you had like Goldspan Dragon on the field, it would just be there would be 14.
That's salt in the wounds, the Goldspan Dragon. Yeah, wow.
That's channel is what that is.
Yeah. I can see that being a problem in that sort of quote unquote casual format of Commander.
Yeah.
And,
yes, very casual.
Yeah, and there's I think the announcement references, Notion Thief and Narset and things. So it's, promotes a pretty narrow deck building choice. It's like in a format that promotes everybody doing what they want to do. You can build whatever you want. It's Commander. And, this probably has a home in C EDH. If people want to do broken combos, that's fine, as long as you know what you're signing up for. But if you just want to play your, mono black zombies deck or, your shrine enchantment deck, whatever you want to do, and then somebody rocks up and does this, it does, take the fun away from the game.
Kind of feels like anti-magic a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yep.
Have you ever cast this in Commander? Anybody here on the cast tonight?
I would be looking to put it in my fiance's Merfolk deck. I'm making as part of my return to Magic. I'm building her and me a Commander deck agent because her favorite Disney movie is The Little Mermaid. I'm making her a
Nice.
Merfolk deck.
Does she have
Very good.
a deck with lots of crabs in it because of the Sebastian in the thing as well? Okay.
No,
That might be going too deep. There's some octopuses.
Making a
also?
crab deck is too close to rogues for my liking.
Yeah, we don't want that. Remember, we're going to keep it
filthy
PG,
rogues.
by the way, Reese. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Whenever you talk
Ash,
about
are
rogues.
you a Commander player at all?
I do play a bit, and that's how I started in Magic.
Okay.
I just went to my local store and saw a whole guys playing Commander. One of them gave me a turn. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, Commander's an interesting format to be introduced to for Magic because there's a lot going on. Like we have friends that have basically gotten into Magic through seeing us playing Commander, and yeah, it's a pretty. There's a lot going on in Commander when you've got 4 players and everyone's decks are doing crazy things, and yeah, it's probably not the best way to learn, but it's fun.
Although
sometimes.
it seems to work. I think a lot of people are intrigued by
Well,
that. And,
you've got more of that social aspect of like you're sitting there with 4 people playing the same game. It's like almost like playing a board game together, and you've got a lot of that sort of interaction, and that's probably why people sort of get sucked into it.
Like at my store, there are days before Commander tournaments at night where they just sit there and all they do is play Commander throughout the day.
That sounds awesome.
Yep.
So, yeah, it sounds
surprised.
awesome. I'll
Who's
pop
got time
in
for
from
that?
time to time.
All right, so yeah, I think from what I've been hearing, most people agree with the whole breach of ban. I remember the first time I saw that card, it was probably in one of Chris's decks. He's always got powerful Commander decks and has access to all the cards. First time I saw it and read it, and it was like, oh, okay, this is weird. And then you kind of think about it and go, oh, hang on, this just ruins everyone's fun because so much of Commander is about just drawing lots of cards so you can stay in the game, and when you don't get to do that and your opponent does and they get all the treasures, it is not good. So yeah, probably a good thing to see. All right,
Yeah,
so
I'm not sad about that.
yeah, next topic on the docket is the limited format of D&D. So we're actually kind of hoping to have Stu on tonight because I know he's been playing a fair bit of Limited, but Chewy, you've also been playing a decent amount of Limited. And
I've been
from what I'm hearing,
because it's awesome.
it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's real limited in the sense that there's not you just got to build a good deck.
There's not cycling.
There's no cycling, exactly. Yeah, you actually have
or
to
the
think
mill
about.
deck.
Yeah, exactly. So what I was surprised about, so I guess we'll get into like sealed or draft, but like first impressions of the format is it struck a really good balance between a highly synergistic set and a core set. And, we've seen a lot of synergistic sets, where there are, we've seen an enchantment, set, and we've had artifact sets and tribal sets and things in recent memories where everything was about synergy, and those limited formats, for me at least, have a limited lifespan because it's just like, these are the defined archetypes and you just
Was
got
that
to
a
draft
joke?
those. No, it was not, but it was a pretty good one. I'm getting to the point now where I'm subconsciously making puns, Shorty, so... So it is this seems really diverse and there's a lot to explore here, and because it's not, there's not like set lanes as such. You know, there's archetypes, absolutely, and the class enchantments are, you know, a good signpost of what you kind of should be doing, but it's not really a narrow signpost. It's a pathway, not a lane, if that makes sense. Like you can take it wherever you want. And it's been really fun. Like any color combination, it seems to be playable. You don't have to necessarily have bombs, although like any core set format, you know, bombs are definitely a thing. But certainly something over my limited career that I've gone to is sometimes just build a functional deck. Just build a good deck with 2-drops and removal spells, and
that tends to be the case for core sets. Like
yeah,
they are,
but it's not
toned
just
down
that
a little bit. Yep,
yeah,
it's got extra stuff in it.
Yeah, there's more to
cool.
it. So it feels like a really good format. So I've done a handful of sealed events and a handful of drafts. Probably not as many as Stu or like J Mud, Hemsey, and a couple of others on our.
The limited channel's been going off in the Discord this last week, which is good to see.
Everyone's overstandard. But yeah, it's a really, really fun experience to draft. So from a sealed perspective, I've had a couple of, I guess, polar opposite experiences and then a couple in the middle. So I had a sealed deck that was it was really uninspiring and unexciting. And that was one of the moments where I went, okay, I don't have any like quote unquote good cards. I don't have any bombs. I don't have anything to build around. I don't have anything that, you know, I've just got this pile of cards, and I put them together and I just went, okay, I'm just going to build the best deck that I can. And I built just like a red-green aggressive deck. I had I had a full playset, actually, of 4 copies of the 3/1 that, with pack tactics. So if you attack with creatures with power 6 or greater, it gets first strike, and, you know, some removal spells, and, you know, just a couple of big green beaters at the top end, and, you know, squeezed out a 6/3. I lost to people with playable rares that drew them. How
rude.
That happens. Actually, in that sealed, in game, it was best of 1. So yeah, in that game, they played the hasty dragon with fire breathing, and then they also had the green thing that doubled the power and toughness.
Is that the one where if its power goes to 20, it deals 20 damage?
Yeah. But they played a thing that made a treasure, maybe the halfling innkeeper, and then turn 3 they played the ogre, the grey ogre, the hill giant, which is an ogre, which is very confusing, that makes treasures, and they attacked me and they rolled a 20, and so they made 3 treasures. And then the next turn they played the dragon, and then they attacked with the ogre, rolled a second 20.
Nice.
And then, then used all of that to pump the dragon, then double its power and toughness and just kill me on the turn before I could, attack them back with my 3/1 first strikers for the win. So, well played, random opponent who rolled 2 20s in a row. Like, you got me. But
nice work finding that line and just playing to it. I've got to get to this board state and
this
roll
is my
2
only
20s.
out.
It was literally like, I had them dead unless they rolled a 20. Like, it's like, I'm 5% to win the game here. Let's go. And they got there. So well done. Like, I wasn't even mad. It was just like, you know what? Like, you can have the nice, and then you can have the good game emote. And, I don't use the emote so often, but that definitely warranted it. And the draft experience is really good as well. I've had a couple of 2/1s and 1 3/0 in the drafting. I've been doing the traditional draft one, and yeah, it's been really, really good. It's a fun experience. It's really diverse, and if you haven't played this limited format, highly recommend it. It should be available for gold shortly. Like, I've been using a few of my gems getting into that, but that's what I save my gems for. That's how I generally collect cards.
Build your collection.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really fun way to build your collection, and but gems equal cash, so it should be available for gold very shortly. And if you haven't drafted this set, I recommend it. If you're new to drafting, or relatively new to drafting, it's a really good set to draft because there's no crazy hinky combos that you need to know about. It's just a good draft set, and it's really well balanced in the colours. So just draft what's open, and chances are you'll have a good deck and you'll have a good experience. So yeah, play some D&D.
One of the things that would help with that as well from the core set perspective is that it's not as keywordy as some other sets. And even the keywords that it does use, because they rely so heavily on the italicized, the flavor text keywords. All the cards tell you exactly what they do on the card. You don't have to hover over it to bring up a keyword. Like the pack tactics, it always explains if you attack with 6 power or more, and that's about one of the only things I can think of that is even remotely close to a traditional keyword ability. So it sounds like it'd be a very really good way to balance being a core set and introducing new players while still being a challenging and robust limited set for experienced players.
Yeah. I feel like they've got the they've got that balance right. I think so. So it certainly feels that way in the early weeks. Maybe there's something looming that other people are, they've figured it out that I haven't yet. But I think it's great. So yeah. Do you draft a lot, Ash, when a new set comes out, or are you more of a constructor player?
I save anything with drafts or limit until I get to my pre-releases. I like to be shocked and surprised, but I have opened a few packs on Arena because as the Mastery Pass, you don't get a choice in what packs you get. I was thinking of drafting it or sealed, but I don't have the gold because I spent it all on Strixhaven booster packs.
Oh no. We'll talk about it a little bit later in the cast, but we may have we've got a stream planned for this week, and depending on how things go, we may end that stream, the official part of that stream, then just jump into some sealed deck or a draft as well, because Stu and I have both been enjoying it a lot, so seems like a good excuse. So watch this space. Yeah.
Cool. So the recommendation is definitely draft it, Chewy. It's a good draft format and good set to draft.
Yeah, 100%. I've really been enjoying it. And rather than saying I need to draft because I need to build my collection, I've genuinely been excited.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I don't think I've drafted the last 4 or 5 sets. I was the same as you. I used the drafting early on. Or as soon as it went to gold for the drafts, I would draft a heap just to build collection and get those wild cards, and just haven't the last few sets. So maybe I'll have to jump in on this one. It sounds a bit more my skill level for drafting with the almost core set sort of basic stuff.
Well, just, you can just go to your fundamentals. We did an article in our
back
Evergreen.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever Evergreen episode that is.
We did one on building your mana base and one on bread. So there's some quality Magic Beans content in the library already for you.
Well, there's always quality Magic Beans content. What are you talking about, Chewy?
I guess I didn't need to qualify that. It's just a straight statement. That is 100%. Yeah. So what I've been looking forward to is, as I've said, building my collection up, which is a great way to get those rares and uncommons and those constructed commons, which is, leads into the next, constructed format. It's a very big standard format currently, but rotation is looming. Everyone's pretty pumped about that, but it's nice to have the cards in your collection and not have to spend some wild cards when you actually want to build a constructed deck.
We do, as you said, Chewy, we do have, we're at the biggest point of standard, so we have the most sets in standard, which normally it makes standard quite interesting, because there's a lot of powerful stuff and you can do a lot of good things. But I think, unfortunately, we're all at the point where it's like, I'm kind of over this standard and I want Eldraine to rotate. But we've still got a few months before that happens, and there's going to be events to play, not just events of ours in the Magic Bean tournament series, but other events and, potentially in-person paper events, things like that. So we thought we'd have a bit of a look at how the standard format is shaping up in week 1. I've been playing some standard this week. I think I've played more Magic in the last week and a half than I have in the last 2 months, not including Beans League matches and things like that. Just finally decided to get back into it.
Even Cracker has been grinding some standard letter with multiple copies of Dracolich in his deck list. So
I mean, I'm all the way up to Silver 3. That's how much Magic I've been playing.
Shut the front door.
This is a perfect time for Reese to get on his high and mighty pedestal and tell us about how he made Mythic last season.
Yeah.
2 months ago, May.
Standard expert. What are we seeing in the standard metagame in week 1 of the D&D set?
Okay, so we could just call it a day and say if your deck was good before D&D, it is still good.
Yes, I have been playing Teamer Adventures.
Dust and Hands, we're all good.
To be fair, you could have said that before Strixhaven came out as well.
That's true.
Yep.
But, so there is a couple of things that have sort of repositioned themselves in the metagame, sort of, we notice pushing itself back up. I guess the one thing you could say, the early impact of the new set is it's more of a Dungeons and Dragons new thing. Sorry, Chew, I tried my best.
I approve wholeheartedly.
So, Loyal Warhound is pushing decks like the Winota deck back up. That card is quite excellent.
That's the one that fetches up a Plains?
Yeah. Puppy of the White Orchid.
Yep.
So, and despite not having that much, only the pack leader, Stompy's having a bit of resurgence as well. That might be more of a positioning thing than specifically a Dungeons and Dragons set thing. And Izzet Dragons is still good, now with over 100% more dragon content. It has Immrith Desert Doom, and is also adding Dragon's Fire. So Immrith Desert Doom, for short, is the 3 blue 5/5 flyer that has Ward 4 if it's untapped, and draws a card when it hit.
Draws a
card or draws
sort
lots
of
of cards.
Ojutai card. It's the new version of Dragonlord Ojutai.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of I just got this card from the Commander set from Josh and Pat actually for my fiance's Commander deck. It's the draw 3 cards, then draw. If someone has more, draw the difference. It's that effect. So draw more cards if you have less cards.
And it's a 5-mana 5/5 flyer with Ward 4.
Yeah, with Ward 4 when it's untapped, which is just excellent on its own right.
Yeah, I have lost to this in Limited.
I imagine it beats a lot of people in Limited, that card. The other one that I didn't see coming in actually seems quite good now that now the deck is actually playing more physical dragons is Dragon's Fire, which is deal 3 to a creature or planeswalker for 1 red. But as an additional cost, you may reveal a dragon card, and if you do, it deals damage equal to the dragon's power instead.
So that deck's playing Goldspan Dragon, Immrith.
Already was playing Gold Street, yeah, and playing Galazeth. So it was already playing 6 or 7 dragons, now playing close to 10, plus this new dragon instant. So that seems even better now and shores up. Like it's much better now at killing with Immrith Desert Doom. It can kill a Lovestruck Beast for fun.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually a really important thing to, killing Lovestruck Beast is anything with mountains in it can be an issue for Lovestruck Beast can be an issue for them. You mentioned the Stompy deck, and the Werewolf Pack Leader is kind of a card I read in the preview season, and I didn't know whether it was going to be any good or not. Look, 2-mana 3/3, sure, like that seems okay.
Should be good.
Yeah, but I didn't realize how good the pack tactics, or how easy the pack tactics would be to trigger. So I think this card's legitimately good.
I kind of looked at it a bit and I was trying to judge how good it was, and I thought this is kind of too much text for me to be able to judge it without playing it. And then I thought, you know what? I think I'm just overthinking this. 3/3 for 2 is really good, no matter what. It's bonus for us, or we're in Australia, bonus chips. All the text on it is just extra stuff. It's great.
So to be clear, is bonus chips an extra one, or is that at the bottom of your bag of Macca's or KFC when you find those chips and you're like, bonus chips, right? That's the
correct answer to that question is yes.
Yeah.
Which sort of chips are you referring to? Chips for those non-Australians listening, chips refers to a whole bunch of different things.
Chips is just a general term for some sort of potato. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's about, as I said, so you're either playing, if you're playing new cards, it's a dog or a dragon, and if your deck was good before Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, it's still good. The one thing that I haven't seen yet that I'm expecting to see a bit more of as the format evolves is the manlands from the set, I think, are being criminally underplayed at the moment, and expect to see that. I think the ones in pretty much all the colours that I can think of off the top of my head with all the text that they do, except I don't know what the white one does, but it's white, so it's probably bad. They're all good, and if you can fit them in, do so.
Yeah, I think it's if you're a multicolored deck, particularly if you're a 3-colored deck, you can probably make room for those. Just Faceless Haven and Snow Mana bases in monocolored decks, it's pretty hard to displace that. But they're certainly really powerful, and creature lands have been, when they've been in a format, they generally get played. So yeah, I agree. I expect to see that.
I had an opponent play the blue one against me, and he never actually activated it, but it was terrifying.
Yeah,
it makes like a 5/5 giant or something like that with ward.
It's 7/7.
Yeah.
7/7.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Ash, have you ever played with a card called Treetop Village?
No, but
be still my beating heart.
Oh, it's when I think creature
Reese
land.
is getting excited.
No, because I'm of a similar vintage to Reese, so
yes, vintage. That's the term for you.
It taps for green, comes into play tapped, and it's 1 and a green, and it becomes a 3/3 ape with trample. So really efficient creature land, and you're one of the best ever. And it's these lands seem on par. They all do different things, obviously, but they all seem of that, if not more powerful. So coming to play untapped in certain situations early in the game, and the activation cost is a little higher, but you're getting more for it. So I think there's a trade-off there. It's
the term is more bang for your buck.
Exactly. So yeah, so you can still play your 2-drop on curve, which is great because there's always a risk with comes into play. We saw that with the Celestial Colonnade and what was the 3/2 unblockable guy and the Raging Ravine, that cycle.
Yep.
We've all lost games because they come into play tapped, but we've all won games because they become a legitimate threat. And these,
you just look at Faceless Haven and see how good that is after post board wrath.
Yeah, exactly. For the cost of it being colourless and having to play Snowlands, it's not a great cost. And that's I think people need to play with the new ones for it to displace the Faceless Haven. And there'll be in mono red, I think Faceless Haven is probably better than the red one. But
no, the Bugbear one's out. You're underrating the. But I was going to say before, it's more bang for your Bugbear. That card's real good.
We have Reese on all the time. I like him. It's good.
No. We can't have 2 people that do this.
I've already hit my limit. I've had 2.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I can't now say that, puns are a real bugbear for Shorty. I feel like because you've already used that. So.
All right, and
sorry,
it's
man,
just
I
the Ash and Shorty podcast. Let's finish this one off. So you said Winota is coming back. I've played against Winota a bit this week, and yeah, it's picked up the Loyal Warhound, as you said, which is the 2-drop dog. 3/1 with vigilance that goes and fetches you up at planes if you've got less lands than your opponent. Works really good. It's a good creature, and it obviously triggers Winota as well. So yep, you can see why that would have slotted straight in. The other card I've seen it picking up is the Flame Skull, which I completely, when we spoke about the D&D set, well, I don't know whenever that was, last week, was that the last time we did previews on D&D? I completely missed this card, completely forgot about it. It's a card that has my name written all over it, and so I'm going to read it out because we didn't read it out. So it's 1 red for a 3/1 with flying, a skeleton, and it's literally just a burning skull head, which is exactly what you picture when you say Flame Skull. Can't block. Who cares about blocking? And it has
not red.
Rejuvenation, which is just one of the flavor words. When it dies, exile it. If you do, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play one of those cards. So you can either play the Flame Skull, and then the other card remains exiled, or you can play the other card, and then the Flame Skull will remain exiled. So it's a recursive threat, effectively, for red decks. Obviously works well in Winota as well, being a 3-drop that is a non-human. So you can play that on your turn 3 and then drop Winota on turn 4 and get that extra trigger. And having that clause the light up the stage clause where you can play it until the end of your next turn is actually really, really good. So, been interested to give this one a crack in mono red. I don't know if it probably at the moment it's probably not good enough to play in the current mono red. I think that list is fairly well set, and adding an extra 3-drop is probably not really what you want.
This would have to be better than Annex, right?
Yeah, which it is not.
Yeah.
No.
So not with Embercleaves, but
it's still good with Embercleave. I mean, it becomes a 4/4 flying double strike. So
yeah, that is true. So
you can't go wrong with Embercleave. You cannot go wrong.
No, like Embercleave,
unless you draw 3 or 4 of them and you have no creatures.
Yeah,
doesn't need to have power. It gives it a power.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. So, so 2 things about this card. First of all, I'm really looking forward to the alters with the Nicolas Cage terrible movie character. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'm interested. So for a little peek behind the curtain, we've got our webcams on so we can not talk over each other too much in this. And just over Ash's left shoulder is a 6 foot tall banner of Chandra, like the stained glass thing.
Is that what that is? I was wondering what that was.
Yeah.
We need Blaster Boy on.
It looks incredible.
In love.
Yeah. So that tells me that that Ash is probably a fan of playing mountains. Are you excited by this card?
I am. I'm probably gonna get a handful of copies for my mini mono red deck.
Many mono red decks. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, across different formats, of course, but
I can see this being played in historic. It's good enough for. I don't know if it's got a home yet, but on rate, this card's good enough for historic. I think. I'm not sure if it quite makes it into modern, but I think it's going to be a great card in standard and will show up in historic in some capacity. So yeah, I think this is great. Reese, I'm sorry, but your control deck's probably going to lose to this at some point.
Incorrect, actually. Not incorrect. I would definitely lose to it, but don't apologize. One of my guilty pleasures is taking mono red and turning it into a control deck, and I like to play big red slow decks. And this will be excellent, and it's a source of card advantage possibly, or it's recursive. If Arclight Phoenix is bin chicken, this is dead chicken. I didn't realize this brought itself back. Apparently, I must have stopped reading before the bracket text at the end of the card. But that card's excellent.
Yeah, it is really good. Reprint Arc Slogger, Reese.
Yes.
Yes.
Weep tears of joy. I'm getting emotional.
5-mana 4/5s. Just love them. So yeah, Shorty, I think that's probably one we missed in previous season, or perhaps it was previewed quite late. Yep. But this card is obviously good, and has a home in Winota, and will probably show up in a number of decks, particularly post rotation.
Yep. Who else has been playing standard since the new set? What are you guys seeing? Ash, have you given it a crack yet?
I've kind of given it a crack. I have been facing Rogue.
Okay.
My condolences.
Yeah. There's a 5-cost Rogue that basically whatever creature or something, they can just pick it out from your graveyard.
Zarath San.
Yeah, that one.
Rogue Jitsu it in and it deals damage to you.
So Slogs is making a comeback.
Yep.
That's what I've seen, but they randomly give different decks.
Yep. What have you been playing yourself?
Gruul Trample.
Okay.
Is a little thing I've whipped up. I've done it a few times in sort of arena tournaments, so it kind of worked.
Yep. Big dudes and Embercleaves.
Yeah. Recently I've gone on to red, white, sort of angel clerics.
Okay.
And I also have a red, white one based on the bird advisor that'll bring it back. So you cast something like Run Amok, and you have 4 open. So you cast Run Amok, goes to grave, and then you can bring it back and cast it again.
Oh, is that the bird advisor that if you bring back an instant that you don't target your own creature with, it costs 1 billion more?
Yeah, it's got the 0 mana activation, but if it targets him, it costs 8 more or something. Yeah. Yeah, that card seems like it's just waiting to be broken. I'm not smart enough to figure that one out. Yeah,
That is the perfect way to express it.
Yeah, that is a true statement. Yeah.
What have you been seeing, Reese?
So I have been trying to turn Gretchen, the blue-green 2/4 Gretchen Titchwillow. It's become my fetch at the moment. I'm trying to make it a thing, but it's not really. Shorty's looking real pained right now. That wasn't a pun. That was a reference.
I know what the reference is.
I think that card's really good. Like it's a slower but like obviously more recursive version of I've forgotten the name. The 4-mana blue-green card that draw 2 cards, play a land. I think it's
from Strixhaven.
Yeah, so I think it's a way to just grind out card advantage.
Spiral.
Yeah, I think with that kind of card or that specific card, Reese, it's more format dependent on whether how well that card's
Eureka
positioned.
Moment's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So you thought of it and you had a Eureka Moment. I remember the name of the card. Yep. So if the format's grindy and there are traditional mid-range matchups, that card's going to be great. But at the moment, there's the Emergent Ultimatum, and
it's terrible against
way
Ultimatum.
Too many powerful things.
Yeah, there's just more I win buttons rather than grinding out a win, and I think we have to wait for rotation for that card to really have its opportunity. But
I also think it'll be good against, if mono red comes back to being a dominant deck because it's 2 mana with 4 on the butt. It's good against mono red. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. And then just having that mana sink to get you over the top, drawing cards and putting extra land drops on. That's gets you to that next level where you can start Elrond's epiphanying and things like that, and then mono red just goes, okay, I'm done. I've had enough. I'm not
That's
winning
pretty
this
much
game.
exactly. I made my own build of Team of Adventures, which is slightly slower but a bit more biased towards counterspells. So I've got that I just put it in there as a one-off. Like if I happen to draw it and I'm mana flooded, instead of going on the Magic Beans Discord and blaming the shuffler, I'm going to put the mana flood into something useful. I'm definitely not subtweeting anyone who does that in the Discord.
What have you been seeing a lot of? What have you been going up against?
A lot of people trying to force a venture into the dungeon. The very first matchup I played.
I haven't seen one of those decks yet.
Yeah, the very first game I played against after the set dropped was someone who just went turn 2, the triple modal card where you can destroy it. You find a weird idol or something and you can destroy it or take its eyes, and the eyes is venture into the dungeon.
Okay.
And so
That's
they were
going
just
deep. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so it was a lot of that, and I'm seeing a lot of the 3/3 for 4 when it enters the battlefield or attacks you venture into the dungeon. So a lot of people trying to make dungeons work, which I think might be the way to be. Particularly, I would expect to see a bit more of that in the 2022 queues, because I think just having a decent deck with free stuff, like fair free stuff, unlike Rogues, which has a decent deck and broken free stuff, that's going to be where you want to be in the new format.
Not holding a grudge at all against Rogues.
It just gets mill for free. I don't understand. It's a perfectly good tempo deck and it gets mill for free. And
Chewy, how are you finding Standard?
Not as diverse as I'd like. I'm really keen for Eldraine to go. That full disclosure, I've been playing Team Adventures. But yeah, it's still, the traditional mono red deck, still the Sultai Ultimatum deck, still getting around, with just that, little bit of garnish that is the newer cards. So, existing archetypes, as we've seen with the deck list that we spoke about, existing archetypes getting an upgrade, and that's great. I'm happy to see that, but I'm really keen for rotation that we can actually see some new archetypes come up, because I think there's enough going on in Strixhaven and in D&D that it's just not as good as either Theros or Eldraine. So it's just not worth playing. But I'm actually looking forward to a lower powered Standard. I genuinely am. I think a lot of people are overseeing the same cards over and over again, and I guess part of the draw to Limited is, I like playing Magic. I'm enjoying playing Magic, but I'm not enjoying Standard right now. So, yeah.
Yep.
make
It's going to be a new
rotations earlier.
experience, not just seeing your opponent cast one particular card and instantly going cog concede.
Exactly. Like, I'm over it. So give us something new and, yeah. What about you, Shorty? Have you just been ember cleaving people or you've been...
No. So, same as you. I've been playing Team Adventures basically for the last... Well, since the set dropped. I was playing it just before the new set came out, and then the new set came out, and I went, well, there's not really any reason to not be playing this deck. It's still very powerful, and I don't have to spend wildcards on decks that are probably not going to end up being very good. So, been running that. I have seen some new decks. The first few matches I played in the new format were actually against mill decks, and that was interesting. Not rogues decks. They were playing ruin crabs and things like that. But got milled out a few times. That was good fun. And I've come up against a few goblin decks. So there is the hobgoblin.
I've been trying to make that work. I want it to work so bad.
Yeah, and there's that, and there's one other goblin. So there's the Hobgoblin Bandit Lord, which is a 1 red 2/3 other goblins you control get +1/+1. So it's a Goblin Lord, which is good. And it's got red tap, Hobgoblin Bandit Lord deals damage equal to the number of goblins that entered the battlefield under your control this turn to any target. So
it is Krenko Mob Boss's new best friend, surely.
Yeah, in Historic.
Yeah.
But probably not so much in Standard. So there's that. There's the other Hobgoblin, Hobgoblin Captain, 1 and a red, 3/1, and that's got the pack tactic. So when you attack with total power 6 or greater, gains first strike to end a turn, and then just a bunch of other random goblins that have sort of already been in Standard as well. So it seems okay, but it doesn't seem as good as just the same mono red that we've been playing for a while. So maybe, again, after rotation, it might be powerful enough, and maybe that will become the default mono red deck that we see post-rotation. I'm not expecting many goblins to come out in the Innistrad sets. I don't think goblins exist on Innistrad. Could be wrong, but there's some groundwork that's been laid there. New
creature type Goblin Eldrazi.
Goblin vampires?
Yeah.
Goblin werewolves?
Why not?
But yeah, as you said, it's Standard is stale. And we know that, and it's unfortunate. We're going to be playing it for a couple of months. But I guess that means you don't have to burn wildcards to build new decks. You can just keep jamming what you got. So
a way to make Standard less stale is to play for something significant and something that is bigger than just the ladder, trying to get from, silver to gold and gold to platinum, and, maybe get paired against Reese up in Mythic somewhere. But so
where would we do a thing like that?
Yeah, exactly. Free wins. That's why we do it. So what could possibly be coming up there's some stakes. Give us something to play for, Shorty. What do we got?
Some juicy steaks.
I was going to say you're offering to cook us some steaks, are you?
Ooh.
Sounds pretty good. No, we do. We have the next installment in the Magic Beans tournament series, which is our D&D League, or D&D Arena League. Kind of have to specify that because I'm sure there is such a thing as a D&D League where you play D&D in a league form. I don't know. Anyway, so that's kicking off. So we're recording this Thursday night, and that is kicking off tomorrow night, Friday night. We'll be doing the live stream draw that we've been doing for ages now. Where basically every league we do the live stream. Get out the sorting hat. I think. What did Cracker say? He's using a bag of holding this time.
Yeah, so we had gone from the Teferi's puzzle box to the sorting hat in Strixhaven. Now we've got the bag of holding. So
Yep. So I believe all of us here on the cast tonight are all signed up for this league. Pretty excited. Hopefully, Ash, you can get a win on the board this time.
Yeah, that would be very nice.
I'm sure you'll get put into Chewy's group and you'll get an easy win there, so you'll be fine. Although I think there's been a little bit of a rivalry going on between you, Reese, and Ash with who gets to announce the pod day on the podcast.
Bit of banter out there. So
we might have to try and tee it up so you're both in the same group and you can go head to head and see who's actually the rightful owner to shout out the pod day when it turns up.
Well, if Ash starts getting her Beans League wins, then all I was complaining about was that I was the original person who was terrible consistently in Beans Leagues, and then I couldn't have that anymore, and then I couldn't even have Pod Day. I don't get anything of my own. So once Ash starts winning, then she can have Pod Day, and I'll have sucking in the leagues.
Yeah, we'll do what we did last season. Instead of you winning, I'll just win our match. Hey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
well, I'm already one up in this series, aren't I? Oh, this is excellent. I'm retiring from the Beans Leagues.
So J Mud, if you're listening, I think we need, similar to the Beans points table that you've got, maybe an Ash versus Reese table as well.
I'm sure that the stats he's already got there, we could pretty easily pull up the win rate between those two.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't be too hard to
right
find.
now, it's basically 0-1.
One match.
Yeah, I've lost. That was the last league in Group Stew.
Yes.
If you guys do happen to get paired, we absolutely need to stream your match as well. So we'll do that as one of our midweek streams, just to get that happening, and maybe some interviews, some lead up. We can do a bit of make it a bit of an event. So what we would need to do is, if you guys are in the WWE and you had your entrance song, we need to get that teed up as well. So start thinking about that.
All right, so yeah, this the league will kick off. So by the time you listen to this podcast, it'll be too late to register for this league. But if you
now, right?
don't know about it, yeah, technically too late right now. If you want to get in on our future ones, there will be one more league this year, the Innistrad set league, which is going to be a bit of an awkward league with the 2 sets being released. We're waiting to see the dates on that and how we're going to schedule that. But there'll be another historic event and then another league to come. So yeah, definitely get in on those. They're a lot of fun. And the live draw streams are always good fun. Bit of banter going on in the chat, that sort of thing. So tune in for that tomorrow night.
It's
but
the
yeah,
most
we're up to
Beans thing ever, and we've got How many do we have in our?
We are now
league
at
register?
56. 56. So this is our record for league entrance. 56 players, which actually makes it a little bit awkward for how we break up the leagues, and the groups are a little bit too big. But that's okay.
You
It's a
need
good problem
now.
to have.
I'll be in charge of this 5th group.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we can have Sprout Group A and Sprout Group B.
Yeah. Yeah, so what we're hoping for is if we can tip over 60 players, we can get to the point where we can have more groups, and then yeah, we'll definitely need some new team captains. But we're in a bit of an awkward phase, so if you're listening out there and you haven't joined in these leagues, definitely join the next one because they're a lot of fun, and yeah, get those numbers up. So yeah, that'll kick off as soon as the live draw finishes, and we enter you all into your groups, do the admin side on the back end, and yeah, you'll have 4 weeks to play the round robin matches, and then we'll be cutting to the finals as we've done in the past, and then yeah, doing streams and streaming the actual top 8 finals. So always a lot of fun. Over $500 in cash and prizes, thanks to Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar. So pretty good, free entry, a lot of fun. You get to meet awesome people, and yeah, play some Magic. So
have some fun, bring your friends to the next one, so that way if we do break 60, we can bring Polywaffle and the Blaster Boy back in from the wilderness.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Polywaffle's beard looks like he's been in the wilderness. That's
It
about as
certainly
wilderness
does.
as he gets. But
haven't seen Blaster Boy forever, so he might actually be in the wilderness. Who knows?
he's on the other side of the West Gate, so it's basically the wilderness. But
yeah, yep.
it would be great to crack 60 in our next league. It's really exciting, and it's amazing to see things grow. And I mean, it's a free league with prizes and $500 worth of cash and prizes given away, but that doesn't include the weekly giveaways that we do, and then the giveaways on stream and such. So it's just value. Like, if you're playing Magic anyway, might as well just tack on extra value and come play with us. So if you're listening to this, you're not in our Discord, you're not in our leagues, get on it. It also builds into our invitational, because it's all part of our tournament series. And, the top players or the winners of previous leagues. So even if you've never played before, you could just spike the Innistrad League and get a seat at the table at our invitational. And that is well over $1,000 worth of cash and prizes, close to $1,500. And we've started some discussion. Not going to give anything away. Yeah, absolutely. With what we're talking about today, not going to give anything away. No announcements yet, but there could definitely be something very unique, very sweet, very spicy as our prize for the invitational. So #hype. It's definitely worth tuning in for because it's going to be pretty awesome. So
it's hype, it's sweet, and it's spicy. Can I make a guess? It's a sachet of McDonald's Szechuan sauce.
Just a bottle of sriracha. That's it. That's all you get. Yeah.
Okay, on that note, let's wrap this thing up. So if before we get into the final wrap up, massive thanks to Dark Flame Ash and Reese for joining us tonight, or Ties as you are also known. I hope you guys have had fun, and we'll definitely be looking to do some more streaming of the league matches throughout the next few weeks. So if you guys are keen on jumping in and doing some more commentary, we would love to have you.
Thank you very much for having me. Been an honour.
Is there anything you would like to shout out? I know, Reese, you do a bit of streaming. Do you want to give your stream a shout out?
Yeah, I stream usually Thursday nights, and then periodically when the missus isn't using the Wi-Fi, over on Ties AU. And I also, if you're into esports, write for, if I do say so myself, Australia's leading esports publication in Snowball Esports, so check us out there too.
Very good. So that's Twitch for your streaming and Twitter for the Snowball Esports. Very good.
Yes,
yep,
correct.
go and look up.
Or Google us on Google Snowball Esports, you'll find us everywhere.
Ash, anything you want to shout out?
I want to shout out, basically, I have invited a bunch of players. Some of them that I have seen are already signed up for the league. I appreciate them just coming aboard, I guess. And thanks, guys, for having me on. Really?
No worries.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, our pleasure, Ash, and welcome to everybody who has joined us. I hope you stick around. Hope you have fun, and I'm looking forward to battling on our in our next league. So, tell your friends. Free league prizes. Come on, get in it. So it's great. But it's great, and we appreciate you beating the drum for the Beans, Ash. So it's absolutely our pleasure to have you on.
Very good. All right. So usual wrap up. If you're not in our Discord, that is the best place to be to get in on all the stuff that we do.
It's just the best place to be.
Well, I was going to say, just to be part of our awesome community as the people here on the podcast are. So definitely come and join us in there. The link for that's in the show notes. There's also a link in the show notes for our merch store if you want to get some Magic Beans gear, mugs, hoodies, t-shirts, enormous mouse pads, which I believe you have, Reese.
I do. I've got a mug and a mouse pad, and I am intending to buy a second mouse pad so that Sarah and I can use them as playmats. I've just doxed my fiance. Whoops. For our aforementioned commander decks.
Very good. So plenty of stuff you can pick up in there, and that just goes to support us directly. If you want to support our sponsors who support us, go and check out Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar. You can just type that into Google, jpmtgbazaar.com.au, and that will link you to the Facebook auction group, and you can join the group and get in on their daily auctions. And then when you win, let them know that the Bean sent you. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. All of those places we are either Magic Beans or Magic Beans Cast. Just search us up, you'll find us on there. If you want to find me on Twitter, I am at Peace Inc. Chewy, you are?
At Chewy MTG.
And Reese, you are?
At Ties_AU.
And Ash, I don't even know if you're on Twitter.
I am. I'm EK Mayor or something. I forgot what I was.
Very active.
I was like,
I
have all these different accounts. I'll make a new one up. There you go. I'll make a new one up.
Very good. All right. So, thanks everyone for listening. As always, stay safe out there, and we will see you all next time.
Kisses.